What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so we've been talking about the Jeffrey Epstein files, and I've had people coming in the comments section, you know who you are, talking about, yeah, we're probably never going to get these. And guess what, folks? Well, we come to find out Pam Bondi got some files and was probably shocked to see that, yeah, she didn't get everything. I'm just being, a little bit sarcastic here. She probably wasn't shocked. But come to find out, the SDNY FBI office, Southern District of New York, FBI, was withholding probably terabytes upon terabytes of data, right? We've seen some of the breakdowns of all this. There's all these tapes, there's CDs and all kinds of evidence that they have on Jeffrey Epstein. Well, the 200-page documents that we got was a nothing burger. It was pretty much publicly disclosed information already, stuff that had been out for at least 10 years. So at this point, when we saw that, we were like, yeah, we see what's going on here. They're still trying to cover this up. But hang on, in the background, she was probably panicking. Pam Bondi, that is. So she sends a letter to Kash Patel. And I said this the other day on a video that what Kash Patel needs to do immediately, the next morning, fly to New York, go up to the top agent there and say, give me all the files. If he gives any lip whatsoever, fire him. Boom. Go to the next guy. Same thing. Any lip whatsoever, you're fired too, and just keep going down the line. Well, guess what, folks? New York FBI chief forced out by Trump. DOJ applauded agents who will always remain independent. You are going to be not so shocked, as a matter of fact, at how the corporate press is trying to spin this. So yes, so Kash Patel goes to New York, and guess what, folks? He's fired, just like I asked for. Hopefully Kash Patel saw that video of mine, but of course it probably wasn't me. I'm just some small fish in a big ocean, if you will. Speaking of that, you guys don't forget to smash that like button for me, and if you will notice, new to the channel, you can join a channel membership. That would be great. I just got available, for that. So if y'all could do that, I would be over the freaking moon over this. But I've also got a video clip I want to show you guys right quick, kind of breaking a lot of this down, and then we'll get into the FBI stuff. Check this out, y'all.
Attorney General Pam Bondi now says the Justice Department has received more Jeffrey Epstein files from the FBI after last week's release turned out to not include too much new information, including Epstein's contact list of already known individuals. Bondi told Fox News host Sean Hannity Monday night, quote, truckloads of additional documents have now been delivered to the DOJ. Bondi says the FBI is now going through thousands of new documents, and Director Kash Patel will release a detailed report as to why the Bureau did not release them in the first place. This comes as we've learned the top special agent overseeing the FBI's New York field office, James Dennehy, has been forced to retire. Multiple news outlets are reporting Dennehy sent an email to colleagues saying he was told to put in his retirement papers last Friday, but was not given a reason why. Dennehy was just put in charge of the New York field office in September by then FBI Director Christopher Wray. Wray left when Joe Biden left office.
All right, so the reason I broke that down that way and I showed you that video clip first is because let's check out the timeline here. Let's see how the corporate press is trying to spin this, as a matter of fact. Check this out, y'all. The head of the FBI's New York field office was forced to retire on Monday after resisting the Department of Justice's efforts to go after agents involved in the January 6th investigations, according to multiple reports. So that's how they're trying to spin it. They're saying he wouldn't go after, FBI agents that were involved in January 6th investigations. So he is retiring. He was forced to quit because he wouldn't give up any names or anything. I wonder how they're connecting these two things. That's very interesting. Like, considering the current timeline that's going on. It's one of many recent shakeups and retaliatory purges within the Bureau as the Trump administration continues its efforts to erode the Justice Department's independence from the White House and President Trump's political retribution agenda. There we go, folks. This is how they're trying to spin it. Oh, it's just political retribution. It has nothing to do with the New York field office actively undermining the Trump administration. It's always the evil orange man. It's never deep state rogue actors at this point. This is how they've got to spin it. This is not journalism, folks. This is political activism on their behalf. They are propping up the deep state and want to keep the deep state intact for some reason, and I'm not sure why, but this is how these people act, and this is what we've been living under for decades at this point. And now, finally, we've got a president who is trying to expose, as a matter of fact, just break this thing up, like just shatter it and throw it into the wind, if you will. And it's slowly taking place. I was of the opinion that you're never going to eradicate the deep state. It has levers, mechanisms, and all kinds of other avenues to keep itself intact. But at this point, considering what we've been seeing and the actions of Donald Trump's cabinetry, if you will, yes, they know how the deep state is playing their games, so they know exactly where to go in. They just fire these people. Give them an order that exposes themselves. They're going to defy that order. Then you can fire them for insubordination or force them to retire. I still think, I'm still kind of aggravated a little bit, although I'm enjoyed to see some action, as in breaking the deep state up and throwing it into the wind. But I still think the guy should have been fired. No benefits, none of that. Because, once again, insubordination. He's actively undermining the Trump administration, right? And I've said this before. Donald Trump is our representative in the in the executive branch. I don't know why it took me a lot to get that out. It just happens sometimes. But he's our representative in the executive branch, right? And this is something that the deep state has kind of honed in on. That, the Donald Trump, the president, he's a foreign policy agent. He's in charge of the military. But that's a whole separate thing, right? But they're just figureheads. They don't tell us what to do. This is how these people act, right? And pretty much since, for a long time, we'll put it that way, probably for a very, very long time, at least 50, 60 years, that this is how things have operated here in the United States. They're just a figurehead. We'll just act around their orders. Right, we'll do whatever we want. That was the creation of the deep state. These are rogue actors that don't listen. But right, and a lot of these figureheads, if you will, Christopher Wade, James Comey, all of them, all the way back to probably World War II at least, have been just figureheads that look like they're representing our interests, but they're really not. They're really not. They really have no power whatsoever. But now Donald Trump has come in. He said, look, we're going to put a stop to this. We are going to fire these people. And the deep state is resisting with every ounce that it has. Just completely. And I'm loving to see. And they are getting broken apart and thrown into the wind with the quickness. But, the deep state, yeah, their fingers are entrenched in pretty deeply into the federal government. So, this is going to be a task for Donald Trump. In a letter to colleagues on Monday, James Dennehy wrote that he was informed on Friday that he needed to put my retirement papers in and that he was not given a reason for this decision. Yeah, I'm sure he was, but he's just lying to everybody. Yeah, it's because you withheld the Jeffrey Epstein files. You defied an order that you could not defy. Exactly. So you get fired. This is why I think it's either 5D chess on Pam Bondi and Donald Trump's part, or it's just matter of fact, right? It's just happenstance, if you will. So, but I'm still loving it. I would love to believe that it's 5D chess, but it could be just the simple fact that, Donald Trump's base, we're over here yelling, railing, gnashing our teeth about this Epstein stuff, because we want to know who's involved. Once again, follow the money on that. But we want to know who's involved in this. And we want retribution. We want justice to be served. Because, having Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein themselves go to jail or whatnot, I'm sorry, that's not enough. We want the people, the client list, right? But we don't really even need the information. Like I've postulated before in the past, we don't need to know who these people are, right? Exactly need to know. But what we want is arrests. Yes, we want these people to be brought to justice. But once again, I think one of the reasons the deep state has been propping this stuff up is, like I was saying a minute ago, you follow the money on this, and it probably leads to the destruction of a lot of major corporations in this country. A lot of very, very powerful people. Just look at Bill Gates. I mean, think about that for a second. What if Bill Gates is taken into custody for, whatever that may be? I'm not even going to say that right now because, YouTube kind of frowns upon that. But I'm just saying, Jeffrey Epstein had some deep ties into a lot of stuff. You follow the money, that will lead you wherever you need to go. But as I leave today, I have an immense feeling of pride to have represented an office of professionals who will always do the right thing for the right reasons. Oh my God, I can't believe this guy really actually even said that. Do the right thing for the right reasons. Yeah, this guy is evil, y'all. Just outright evil, who will always seek the truth while upholding the rule of law, who will always follow the facts no matter where they lead and be unapologetic about it, who will never bend, break, falter, or quit on your integrity. That is sickening to me, if you ask me, because you don't get to withhold this information from the public, right? This government is of, for, and by the people, and you do not get to withhold information from the public that should not be classified, essentially. Especially on a case like this, one of the largest operations of that nature that have ever taken place. You don't get to withhold that information and get away with it. That you're working against the rule of law. You're working against doing the right thing for the right reasons. Sorry. Just holding that from the Trump administration, that's the wrong thing for the wrong reasons, my guy. Who will always handle cases and evidence with an overabundance of caution and care for the innocent, the victims, and the process first, and who will always remain independent, he wrote in his Monday email to colleagues announcing his forced retirement. Although he was not given an official reason for his forced resignation, his ousting comes after he pushed back against an order from acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove last month to turn over a list of all the agents involved in the investigations related to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Once again, why not? Why would you get out there against that? Why would you stand, stonewall the administration for that? We want to know who these people are. What is so wrong with that? The top guy, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has the right to know this information. We come to find out, we found out there was, 23 FBI informants in the crowd on January 6th. We want to know all this information. That needs to be publicly disclosed. Why would they go to such lengths to withhold this information? Once again, folks, follow the money on that. It's in their own interest to withhold this because there was probably some underhanded stuff going on. This is right. I mean, you could put out any kind of speculation you want to, but why else would you withhold this information from the public? Right? It was just a simple riot at the Capitol. Plus, we want an investigation. We want to know exactly what happened, how involved the FBI was. Right? We do know for a fact that there were many people targeted after January 6th that weren't rioters, that didn't even go into the building that got arrested. Knowing this, don't you think there should be some accountability in the government for this? Like, where is the argument? You could say, oh, they're targeting, all these people in the government for political retribution reasons. But hang on just a second. Okay, so sure. Right, let's go with that then. If you say we shouldn't target these people, fine. Let's not. But how about the innocent people that were caught up in this? Don't you think we need some accountability? Are you going to try to say, well, that was just a mistake? That they arrested hundreds of people that didn't even go into the building? That were completely innocent on January 6th? Where is the argument against this? There is not one. In response to Bo's directive, Dennehy wrote in an email to his colleagues last month that he was prepared to dig in to support them, according to CNN. Right? That's once again actively subverting the democratically elected administration at this point. That is insane that the corporate press is siding with the seditionists. There we go. Today we find ourselves in the middle of a battle of our own, as good people are being walked out of the FBI and others are being targeted because they did their jobs in accordance with the law and the FBI policy. He wrote, "Time for me to dig in." So where in the law does it say that you get to go after innocent people in this country, arrest innocent people, and charge them? Where in our law does it say you can do this? Nowhere, by the way. The New York Times reported that in addition to angering Trump officials by resisting Bo's directive regarding the January 6th investigation, he also even more recently reportedly clashed with Attorney General Pam Bondi over what Bondi has baselessly described as a failure to deliver and complete investigative filing related to the late convicted offender Jeffrey Epstein. What do you mean baselessly at this point? The corporate press are nothing but lying scumbags. I can't believe that, y'all. I really can't. Without evidence, Bondi has claimed that an anonymous source within the agency told her that the New York FBI office still had thousands of files related to Epstein's case, according to the Washington Post. And once again, now, that's another reason why I played that clip right at the beginning. They just got those files. And this news article was printed this morning at 11:36 a.m. If you go back to the beginning, as a matter of fact, I'll put it back up here and you can see this news article was made this morning. After all this evidence, because that news broke earlier this morning, as a matter of fact. So they wrote this completely withholding, just to manipulate you into believing that this is all just for political retribution, going after January 6th stuff. This is insane, y'all. And this is the level of manipulation, the corporate press. This is the level of scumbaggery that these people are getting on side with these people that are breaking the law, that are undermining the democratically elected president of the United States. These seditionists, they're insurrectionists, y'all. Might as well just call it that. These people are seditionists at this point. Dennehy's ousting also comes against the backdrop of general upheaval within the FBI as the Trump administration has purged staffers and as Trump has had success in installing his allies who have publicly supported his retribution agenda at top posts within the Bureau. What is that even supposed to mean? Retribution agenda? Trying to downsize the government is what you guys call retribution? Because the government's too bloated? You gotta love the level of manipulation here. It is on another level, as a matter of fact. Last month, Kash Patel was narrowly confirmed as FBI director despite lingering questions about whether or not he perjured himself during his confirmation hearing. Oh, I haven't heard nothing about this. Amid reports, he allegedly personally orchestrated a purge within the FBI prior to his confirmation. Is that so? Allegedly. Notice they had to throw allegedly in there because, once again, they can't outright, well, they can lie, but they've got to have some sort of back door that they can easily escape through, right, by throwing in the allegedly. But this is conspiracy theory, just outright. And last week, Trump announced the installment of MAGA conspiracy theorist and podcaster Dan Bongino as deputy FBI director. Once again, ignoring the fact that he was a Secret Service special agent. As a matter of fact, he also worked for the New York Police Department. But instead of, titling him as such, instead of labeling him as, a Secret Service agent or a former Secret Service agent, they title him as MAGA conspiracy theorist. But once again, let's keep going. Bongino has been a vocal critic of the agency and has promoted debunked conspiracy theories that the Bureau was somehow involved in planting pipe bombs outside the Democratic National Committee and Republican National Committee ahead of the January 6th Capitol riot. Now, what you gotta love there is you see how what they're doing right here is they're twisting the truth. They're twisting reality into fitting their own narrative, because what Dan Bongino has said is how, he's basically saying that the FBI is incompetent here. How could they allow somebody to pull this off, knowing that we have this video evidence of this guy on camera, right? We saw that video a couple of months ago when that video came out. We can follow the guy's trail as he went and planted all the pipe bombs. We see all this on video, right? And they can't find this guy for some reason. How can the FBI be that incompetent? That's what Dan Bongino has said. He hasn't said anything about it being an FBI job or anything like what they're saying. Promoted debunked conspiracy theories that the Bureau was somehow involved. Once again, y'all, these people are insane. And that's another thing. Like, they say, oh, it's a debunked conspiracy theory that it was an inside job. Like January 6th, talking about January 6th. You can say that January 6th was an inside job simply due to the fact that the video evidence, Capitol Police allowing people into the building, escorting the QAnon shaman, Jacob Chansley, all around the building. He went to jail. He spent time in prison. As a matter of fact, for being escorted by the Capitol Police all around the building. They didn't arrest him right then and there. He was allowed to leave. He's on camera telling the violent people to stop, to go home. Trying to, issue the message that Donald Trump issued, trying to tell everybody that Donald Trump said to go home, to stop fighting with cops. But he spent prison time for being a seditionist. Well, they tried to get him with sedition, but that was quickly dropped. The corporate press, y'all, is not your friend. And anybody that buys into that narrative is delusional. They just are at this point. They don't give you all the facts, and they lead you down a path of destruction, y'all. And that's what my main job is, to point that stuff out. But I'm loving every single minute of it. That's all I got on this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. It continually blows my mind the level the corporate press is willing to lie to the American people, to lie to you, to get you to believe their propaganda. Blows my mind. But once again, like I said, that's all I got. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button, join the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. That would also help out a lot, y'all. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.